Gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, I am absolutely delighted to be joined by Sergio, the Cuban Missile Crisis Rodriguez, who's going to be returning to his home in the Lion's Den on September 7th for FightersRep 25. And he's going to be taking on a very exciting other fighter by the name of Andrew Gutierrez. Both of them competed at the last FightersRep that looked absolutely amazing. Sergio, thank you so much for joining me this evening. How are you, young man?
Doing great, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You know, we always like you to be on here. We always like to hear from you. Let me tell you, Sergio, you've got a great reputation in the fight game, and a lot of people respect you, and a lot of people enjoy, listening to you and watching you fight.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just be myself. That's the main thing. I don't try to be anything I'm not. And it also helps that people like to hear me speak. I didn't know I was that entertaining. But that's why we're here. It's the first time we've actually done a one-on-one, just us.
Yeah.
So, this is long overdue in my opinion, but hey, it's happening. The time, it couldn't happen at a better time.
I'm excited to have you. I know you wanted to get on. I mean, I felt like when we did the face-off with you and Granado before, I thought that was kind of similar, but you're right. I mean, we've never done a one-on-one and really gotten to pin you down and find out, what it is that makes Sergio Rodriguez tick. So shout out to everybody in the chat. If you have any questions or comments for Sergio, feel free to drop them. Any super chats, we'll split the profit with him. And it looks like Gary is showing up now. So we're going to have him on the sideline until he's set up, and then we'll bring him in to the chat. So Sergio, first and foremost, how are you doing, man? How's everything going on with you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just loving life. I'm loving, the sunny weather out here. Just loving the training. Life's treating me well. I'm truly happy. And how about you, man? How's everything going over in Florida? I know that place a little bit.
Good, man. Good. You're the Cuban Missile Crisis. They're dropping comments in the chat already with Cuba and missiles and gloves and fire. We got a lot of Cubans and Cuban Americans down here in South Florida. A group I'm very familiar with, a group that loves its boxing, that loves its fighting, and you seem to be continuing in that national sport. But you're doing kickboxing with us, which is very exciting,
Yeah, I'll gladly carry the torch. I know I'm making my dad proud. I'm first generation Cuban. My dad's from Santiago de Cuba. Believe it or not, my mom's Mexican. So I'm I'm not entirely Cuban. I'm actually a quarter Mexican, quarter Irish. So there's a lot of drinking in my blood. We got tequila, whiskey, and rum all in one. So
interesting.
Yeah.
And there's Gary. Gary's now in the chat. What's going on, Gary?
Yeah.
You joined
I don't know why it won't rotate, but whatever.
Yeah, man. Right there. So
right.
We got Gary. We got the Cuban Missile Crisis on the line, man.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Had my son's football practice. I had to go to.
Woo. Hey, man.
Understood. So I was just telling Sergio, I mean, we grew up down here in Miami, a lot of Cubans, a lot of Cuban Americans.
Oh, yeah.
For a time, Sergio, I thought Gary was Cuban because his last name was Martin.
Hey, listen, everybody down here, when they hear Martin, they immediately converted to Martinez.
Yeah.
I feel like, no, it's Martin. It's not Martinez.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why. I mean, it's it's Miami, dude. It's it's a strange, but it's a necessary evil. Let's just put it that way.
So Sergio, you've signed up. You've signed the dotted line again. You're coming back to the Lions then September 7th. You're taking on Andrew Gutierrez, man. Before we get into that, kind of tell me a little bit about your last fight again. Ruben Avila. You had a great fight against Ruben. It was a close fight. A lot of people talked about that fight. It was very exciting. His side definitely thought it was controversial. A lot of people thought it was a close fight. I had you edging it. I think Gary thought maybe Avila won it. It was very close, but kind of give me your thoughts on that fight. What you thought about your performance in that fight now in hindsight.
Yeah, now you won't see a lot of fighters say this, but I could see a scenario in which he got the nod. It all depends on the judging. We both did things that the judges are looking for.
Yeah.
However, I got the nod. We both work extremely hard. Ruben, seems a lot like me. We just do our thing. We go to work, we get off, we bust our ass, even more. It's you have two people who are cut from a similar cloth. It's a recipe for a really good fight. And so we threw down. It ended up being very close, and I wanted it to be more lopsided, but there's no rule that says he's gonna let me kick his ass. And Ruben is, in my opinion, he's championship caliber. He can easily be a champion in Muay Thai.
Absolutely.
He's extremely gifted in just kicking ass. So I'm glad I got in there and I got the experience, because we're both going to level up as a result of fighting each other. So I'm only going to be better the next time I'm in there.
For sure. And shout out to Coach Pot. Says, good to see you, George, Sergio, and Gary. Is Coach Pot going to be in your corner? Is he helping you with this camp coming up against Andrew?
I'm going to speak to him after this. We just might get something going. He's not, there's a little misconception in the area. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, you used to be at Buena Park Martial Arts, NHC, Beehive. It's all intertwined. We're like sister gyms. We all get along. We all communicate with one another. That's a common misconception, but it's we all got each other's back. We're all welcome at each other's facilities, and it's almost like we're just one big gym or one big community. So
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
go
ahead, George. No, I was gonna say, even though I thought he edged you out, I didn't think it was nonsense that you won, or like rob. Like, I think people throw around controversial decision or robbery too much. That was a close fight. I mean, it could have. I'm not gonna argue with George if he says, yeah, I thought, you won, or he went and thought the other guy won. It was that close, and it was that good of a fight that you pretty much can call it either way, and nobody should be arguing and be upset, except for the fighters, of course.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, who do you I have in my mind who I think you remind me of since I've seen you. Who do you pattern your style after?
I mean, I've been watching fighting, combat sports since whenever Floyd Mayweather versus Arturo Gatti fought. That was the first fight I ever watched. I was like 4 years old. My dad was watching HBO Boxing After Dark, and I was watching Mayweather, get a TKO over Arturo Gatti. May he rest in peace. But who do I model? I kind of take things from everybody. I love this, man.
Who are
I
some
love
of the
watching
top
fighting.
guys you take something from? The most you took from some of the top guys.
Lately, I would say Piotr Jan. I really like the way he utilizes his hands and throw some kicks behind it. So I think Piotr Jan is very similar to my style.
Okay.
But yeah, he does a lot of things very well.
Who are you seeing, Gary?
Hey, listen. I just feel like, one, he made me feel old as shit. He said he was 4 years old when he fought that fight. I was like,
I'm
4?
sorry, guys.
I was in my 20s.
You are old as shit, Gary. Continue.
So that was the first thing that came to mind. I was like, 4? What? 4? Arturo Gatti?
Yeah.
But the other thing is, it's funny you mentioned that boxing and everything. Pacquiao kind of come to mind with you a little bit. How you're explosive, in and out, quick hands. And I was trying to think of a MMA fighter or a kickboxer that I couldn't think of any, but everything that just kept coming into my mind was Manny. The way his feet moved, like he was smaller than a lot of people, and he just jumped in, jumped out, got his work in, and I don't know. That's what I was thinking.
Yes, no, I think that's a good one, because Sergio does tend to be a smaller guy most of his fights, but he's able to get the win because of his speed, his power, the speed of his hands too, not just his feet. hand speed, foot speed, and power. I think definitely good movement too, Sergio.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's also timing as well. You know, like I said, I've been watching this, doing this a long time. I understand when to throw, when to get out of there, when to feint, when to give them a different look. And one thing you guys will see in my next fight, you'll see me shift a little bit. I'm not ambidextrous completely, but I do know how to fight southpaw a little bit. So I might channel my inner Ruben Avila. And you know, I have southpaw PTSD, man, so I might as well learn how to fight it. You know, fighting a southpaw is a pain in the ass. I don't recommend it. So it's never do that again, George.
Well, hey,
we want to see that again. I want to see that again.
Listen, it was a great look for you. You know, that's kind of the mission here, right? Get you all the best looks we can get you, so that when you move on to become a pro, you know, you're ready for whatever comes your way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just being a dork, man. Of course, yeah. I'll fight anybody, man. The day after this last one, you know, he approached me on text message. He's like, Serge, you know, we got this guy, Andrew Gutierrez. Are you in? And I'm like, that's a horrible impression, but I was like, I am in, dude. I was like, you know, I was like, Roger that, let's go. So it's like, man, I'll fight anybody. You guys, a day later, you guys made my day. you guys.
I mean, that's the only close fight I think I've seen you in.
Yeah, he was a very tricky fighter, dude.
That's the only one. I think you beat that's the only one I picked against you. So don't beat me up if you see me.
Well, you know, the first time he fought for us, you know, I thought definitely he beat Jerry Granado. But I thought Jerry put up a pretty good fight too. But I thought I definitely thought it wasn't as close as the Avila fight. I thought the Avila fight was closer, but I did think I still think Sergio had the more effective strikes, and I think that's what judges look at. They look at the significant strikes. You know what I mean? And he closed the show pretty well, right? So let's take a look. Let's take a look at how he closed the show here, because you know, I think this is key. This was the last impression the judges got before they made the decision. Here it is, last 17 seconds here.
Trying to walk him down, get inside, letting the hands fly in combination.
So coming,
south attack there by Rodriguez,
and then he banged on your chest.
Left hook to the body.
And then you came after him some more.
You know, to the kitchen.
Terrific end to the fight.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like Sugar Ray Leonard, marvelous haggler. You know what I'm saying? End of the round, get your points in.
Yeah. So you know, I think when you close the show like that, you know, it's kind of like what Leonard used to do, like you said, Gary, last 10 seconds, you know, get that work in, man. And that imprints in the judges' minds. And I think that really helped you in that fight, Sergio.
Yeah, he a lot of really close, what you would call swing rounds. Really back and forth, you know, changes in tempo, you know, everything you look for it was what you would call a stress match, I guess. It was just very like, you know, the first person to land big is going to do serious damage, but at the same time, it's like one of us can run away with it in any time. So the best way I can describe that fight is it was a stress match, you know.
You know, the good thing is that you're self-aware, you know, because not everybody can be self-aware and know that, hey, this fight is going back and forward. And I really felt like I told Coach Pot, I felt like it was going up and down, up and down. Every time you think one fighter had, the other one would go to the next level and figure out a counter approach. Because at one point at the beginning, I thought, yeah, for sure, you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, then Avila came and he started creating distance with those kicks and started using his length. And then I'm like, okay, and he figured it out. Now it's going this way. Then it went to you start figuring out how to get around that. And it was just, those are like the things inside the fight that a lot of, like, it was like a chess match every time you guys kept matching each other. So I really liked that part of it, that it wasn't just, you know, once you got figured out or once he got figured out, you guys just kept doing the same thing. It was like a back and forward. So yeah, I see you got good ring IQ.
Thank you. Yeah, I attribute that to boxing being my striking base. It's I go to Maywood Boxing, on the weekends. One of the premier dog houses in LA. We get some good rounds in, really good boxers. It's important to keep the hands sharp, and no one's gonna test your IQ and ring generalship like a straight up boxer. I'm not saying that kickboxers don't, but us kickboxers, we have holes in our games. I mean, someone who lives and breathes boxing, they're going to expose you. So I attribute my ring IQ, because I've gotten that before, to getting those good doghouse rounds in, especially in a high stress environment. There's a lot of Spanish being yelled out, water being thrown on your neck, and the coaches crack a beer open after, and it's all good. But like, that's how it goes, man. And
It's
at least at
mayhem.
Maywood. Yeah, mayhem at Maywood, bro. Like, it's bro. But I'm thankful for all of those guys.
I do think you have great like boxing and movement like a boxer, Sergio. And I think where you've done a great job is you were able to maybe transform your boxing style into I don't know if you did it on purpose or you're biomechanically just this way. You're able to be more upright, which is what you have to be. I think in kickboxing and Muay Thai, you don't slip as much as a boxer does, because that's very irresponsible. I think in kickboxing, you slip left, you slip right, you might catch a shin to the head and go to sleep. So I feel like you do a good job of moving, but moving just enough and not being careless with your movement, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head there. I mean, the consequences of moving your head a little bit too much, or you face planting on a canvas, and fun fact, Ruben Avila actually head kicked me. So when I shook my head and I was like, you didn't land shit. I was like, you did land shit. And it wobbled me a little. It wobbled me. And, I shook my head because that's what you do. I'm not going to let, my mom didn't raise no bitch. So I was like, I'm going to shake my head and say you didn't. But you did,
Hey.
Shout out to Ruben. He got me.
When I first started really getting into combat, and who I was around, they were all like, every time somebody you see and somebody goes, it didn't do nothing. Yeah, it did.
Hey, I'll be the first to tell you, he got me. That good one, Ruben, and he's gonna get more people with that. And I salute them, because they're in for some shit.
Unfortunately, we don't have him on this upcoming card. I hope it's not a situation where he got a little disheartened because he lost two close decisions in a row. I hope we get him back soon, because I agree with you. I think he's still one of the better 130 pounders, whether it's 132, 137, whatever it is. I do think he's one of the better ones in those divisions, and I hope to have him back. But you move on and you move up. And again, September 7th, you're taking on Andrew Gutierrez. Guys, if you haven't already, get your tickets at FightersRep.com. Join the channel if you can't make it. That's the only way to watch the event live. And, Gutierrez as well, Sergio, came off a very good performance. I'm not sure if you got the chance to watch his fight with Ruben Muro. If you did, kind of give me your thoughts on that fight.
Well, shout out to Ruben Muro, man. Really solid guy, really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
I was watching that fight backstage. We're friends. I care about the guy. I'm obviously going to support the dude, especially if we're fighting on the same event. But I watched that fight, man. It was very similar to my fight. We both, much like Andrew, he fought a southpaw Ruben as well. Another fun fact. I'm coming with the fun facts tonight. But he also fought a southpaw Ruben, except he had the height advantage, and Ruben was at a slight disadvantage, maybe more than slight. I don't know, but I saw Ruben Muro putting the pressure on him, man. He was having a lot of success coming down the middle, but the problem was he was coming down the middle. He wasn't, he was a hittable target. Now, it only takes one, especially without the gear on, and he only, Gutierrez only had to be perfect for that second, and he got the job done. Hats off to him. But he's facing a different test than me. A lot of people like to think I'm a pressure fighter. I've studied the shit out of him. I see what he does well. I see what he doesn't do well. And shout out to Jason Granado. He's provided me with some footage of his fight with him. And so shout out to Jason Granado. I was able to study. I was able to study quite a bit, and I was able to pick up some tendencies that he did in January of 2023 versus June of 2024. So I see some tendencies I can exploit. Now they're not fight-ending tendencies, but they can be if he zigs when he should have zagged. But hats off to him. He got the win against Ruben Murrow, but he's fighting a different animal in me. He's anything he does well, I'm gonna try and take away, and everything I do well, I'm gonna try and maximize on that. So, we're gonna get to the bottom of this.
So
I love it, man. I love it.
I see you say, you watch a lot of film. I see certain people say they don't watch film. Obviously, you just said you do. Are you like a film junkie? Do you like constantly just watch film of guys that you may potentially fight, that you are fighting, or even guys that aren't you never will fight because they're not on your level, just to get more and more? Are you that kind of dude?
If the film is there on somebody I'm going to fight, absolutely. I'm going to study them. I'm going to try to pick up tendencies, and if I can pick up on them, drill against them, I can exploit them when the time is right, when it matters most. And but in terms of like other fights in general, I like watching someone's game plan unfold. When someone has a clear strategy, I'll go back to like a really good fight. Like John Jones versus Daniel Cormier, for example. He put water in the basement with his teeps to the body, and then he went high and he got the job done. So that's just one example, though. I mean, obviously, I just went for the most my favorite one. But yeah, but I am big on watching film.
It reminded me of Stipe and Cormier too. That was an exciting series as well.
He went to the body too.
Very strategic. Yeah, he went to the body as well. Yeah, that was a lot of
fun.
Mid-fight adjustments, man. They're mid-fight adjustments. The problem is if someone knows how to do that with you, you're gonna have a long night. Take it from me. Take it from somebody who just went through it.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed about Andrew though is he seems to only fight one way. And the one time he didn't decide to fight one way, he faked that teep, and then he went high, and then his shin wrapped around Ruben Murrow's head. So that's one thing I noticed. That's not going to be available with me because I'm a right-handed orthodox fighter. So I think he's going to go left. I think he's going to try and hit my right side. But it's Mexican judo. You don't know if he's going to go right. You don't know if he's going to go left. So I'll play that game with him, and I'll come out on top.
Well, the other interesting thing about Andrew, who, shout out to him. I mean, that was a beautiful performance at the last FightersRep.
Yes, it was.
Especially considering I thought Muro was winning the first round, and then Andrew came out and got him in that second round. But the interesting thing about him is he's with a new coach. I mean, he's now with Hung at Hard Works. And I know they're not too far from you guys either. I mean, I'm sure there's been some cross training at some point in the past, and you know the pedigree there, and they know the pedigree with you. And we've seen this in the past, with David Marquez, and Ralph Sanchez, and it's a lot of the local guys, starting to fight each other more and more and coming up and becoming, the best guys, which is kind of the mission here, grow the local guys into becoming the best guys. But he has changed teams, and maybe changing teams has added some wrinkles to his style. I mean, would you say that's probably the case considering he's changed teams here?
Yeah, I think Hung. One thing about Hung, solid coach. Got a ton of respect for him as a coach, as a person, as a matchmaker. Ever since you guys brought him in, the fights have been great. So, but as somebody who's helping him strategize and fix some holes in his game, I think he's gonna have a trick. I think Andrew's gonna have a trick up his sleeve. It's just when you have a new coach and you're with him for under a year, there's only so much. There's only so much you can get in there, because it's for the mind to compartmentalize all of that, it's a lot. Let alone apply it in real time in a high stress situation. But that's what separates the good fighters from the great ones, is their ability to apply what you learned. I just don't know. I don't know how the knowledge absorption is going there. I'm assuming it's going to be the best. It's going to be the best Andrew Gutierrez. Yeah, that's all I can say. That's all I can speak to as far as what's going on at Hard Works. But Hung has several champions, across Muay Thai, kickboxing. Camp Spencer, shout out to him.
He'll be on the card with you as well. I mean, this card is ridiculous. Man. This card's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
You're going to be part of a really special. You're going to be a really special part of a really special card, Sergio. I'm going to tell you that much.
I have one request, George.
Yeah.
League one fight for us. I want to know one good one. League one fight for us.
For sure. No. I mean, Cam Spencer is fighting Christian Zoller for a title.
What's one we don't know about?
What we don't know about?
I mean,
I think Marquez is going for a second division title against David Fisher. I mean, it's a ton of. It looks like Amal Rasuli is fighting Daniel Esparza at super heavyweight. Amal Rasuli, our super heavyweight champ, is fighting Esparza at a Blackbeard. So that's two guys over 260 pounds fighting. I mean, I'm telling you, this card is going to be very epic. Right. It's going to be very epic, and we're going to get into a little bit more. Before, though, let's get back to you here, though. We're talking about a great team in Hung and Hard Works. You're also representing a fantastic team in the Beehive over there at NHC, Coach Joshua Fochman. And Coach Pot just popped something in the chat. It's highlighted on the bottom. It says 25 rounds. I know what it means. You go ahead and elaborate on what 25 rounds means for everybody out there in Knucklehead Nation, assuming you want to share what that means.
Well, what it means is right after we get done with this, I'm going to go over there and do the 25 rounds, or at least try my best. But it means a lot of growth within 1.5 hours. It means you're going to be moving around with a lot of local champions, professionals, the cream of the crop within, I think Ruben Murrow has come by. Within a 100-mile radius, people have come out and gotten work with us. Probably further.
I'm seeing Tony Ferguson is training with you guys. El Kukui Gary is training with these guys.
That's a tough one right there. Tony ain't no joke. Have you got
the stories are true? Yes, the stories are true. The stories are true. All of it. Everything.
Cisco Rivera, too. I think you mentioned him in a recent video. Cisco Rivera.
Oh yeah. That dude has leveled me up. And not only in terms of toughness, he gives me a lot of technical pointers as well. He helps me troubleshoot a lot of things. He ex-UFC vet. He's still doing his thing. And he's no spring chicken. I'm not saying he's old or anything, but he can still whoop some ass, man. And, he comes by every Thursday. He levels everybody up. When he's in the room, which is every Thursday. It's like his therapy, I'm guessing. And he comes by, he makes us all better. And big shout out to Cisco Rivera, man.
I mean, do you like getting in there with guys that just gonna beat the shit out you?
It's my favorite part of the week, dude. I'm kind of a psychopath, and it takes a psychopath to do this. So
I think in combat sports, and there was this whole thing about basketball players can come play, football and things. They had that whole argument, and I just think in contact sports, whether it's MMA, boxing, football, people are a little crazy. You gotta enjoy kind of getting your ass kicked sometimes and be like, all right, I'm coming back. You know what I mean?
That's where the biggest leaps are made. I mean, failure is the greatest teacher. Ultimately, it manifests into a victory. All of those hard times you have in a training room. I'm not saying to go in there and, get injured, in the process.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is get in there and lock horns with the best guys. That's where the biggest leaps are going to happen. Pick their brain a little bit and humble yourself. It's helped a lot. It's worked wonders for my team. Myself included, but it's, those 25 rounds, like Coach Pot was saying, the mirrors are getting steamy. People are throwing up in the bathroom from heat exhaustion. People are saying the Lord's Prayer in between. No, I'm just kidding. But it makes you a better person. So big shout out to the Beehive. Coach Joshua Fochman, B. I don't know where I'd be without them. And not only that, Coach Max Ramirez, a man who gets these hands nice and crispy. So he's who I work with on my boxing. So anything I do well with my hands comes from that guy. So he was the guy who walked out with me in my last fight, and he's gonna walk out with me as long as I'm fighting. So it's a big shout out to Max Ramirez as well.
I love it. And it's not just 25 rounds. That gives us the perfect segue into FightersRep 25, which is where Sergio Rodriguez is going to be competing on September 7th. So be sure to get your tickets to FightersRep 25 at FightersRep.com or join the channel. Sergio, there's no reason they can't come to the fight. There's a hotel attached to the Commerce Casino. So wherever they are on planet Earth, they can come watch you fight. But if they can't make it for whatever reason, they can purchase the live stream on
no excuses. No excuses.
Let me tell you something. Sergio gonna give you money worth. He's gonna give you money worth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, in the age of inflation, I'm your money's worth, guys. So come by. I've said it before, dude. They have impeccable burritos. They have a great cocktail, bar. Come by, beat the heat with a margarita, get a burrito while you're at it. It's like being in Cabo, except you're in a tent. So come by, come watch me do my thing, and I'll see you guys there.
Yeah.
For sure. And just some other names that I'm not sure everybody knows are on the card, but Connie Gonzalez is going to be fighting against the Dark Fader Fayeta, and you got Gustavo Flores coming back. He's going to be taking on True Samalavong. You've got Cameron Spencer and Zoller, like we talked about. Milshawn Lathan defending his title. That's going to be a fantastic fight against Rudy Cuevas. Are you familiar with Rudy at all? I mean, I think he might be pretty local as well, Sergio.
That's my long lost older brother, man. We're both bearded Latinos. But no, I'm going to see him in a little bit. He comes by and spars. That's a rough fight for me, man. I'm cool with Mills. I'm cool with Rudy. This one hurts my soul. Why'd you have to do this to me, George? Hung. But I understand the best got to fight the best, and may the best man win. I like them both, and I wish them both nothing but success. But why do they got to fight each other, man? Why? Come on.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you guys are fighting each other now, man, once you guys kind of go off and do your own thing, I'm going to be very confident in saying wherever these guys go, they're going to be ready, man. They're going to be ready, and that's my mission. Whether you guys go pro with me, or you go to ONE, or you go to the UFC, or wherever you guys go, Glory, who knows? I'm gonna feel comfortable in knowing that you guys are ready, because you guys fought the absolute best that I could find for you. Me and Hung are looking for the absolute best for you guys, and and as you can see, I mean, I think you can even see it right in your own trajectory at FightersRep. You've only fought first twice. It's going to be your third fight coming up, but your first one with Jerry was a tough fight. You got through it. Your second one was an even tougher fight against Avila. Very close fight. You got through it. Southpaw, you got a couple nice looks there. And now you're going against Andrew Gutierrez, another tall guy, another strong guy, another tricky guy, another tough guy. I think, you're going to keep leveling it up until at some point there's a title on the line for you. You know what I mean? So
yes, I'll clean out the division if I have to until whenever the champion gets done doing what he's doing. His career doesn't revolve around FightersRep. He's obviously trying MMA, and hats off to him. I'm not going to hate on anybody chasing their dream, man. And I'll be here, I'll be doing work, and I think if I beat Andrew, which I'm going to, it leaves me right at the doorstep of a title shot. And I'm not looking past Andrew Gutierrez. I'm looking through him. I know what I have to do on September 7th. I know it's not a hard task. I have a tall order in front of me, literally and figuratively, but I'm gonna do what I have to do to get that win. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the work in camp, and wherever the chips fall after that, I'll be there. It's fighters fight.
Sergio, let me ask you. You guys are fighting at 137 pounds. Caleb Salazar's coming back as
Yes.
well, by the way, and he's fighting Sammy Caceres out of CMMA. That's going to
Good
be
fight.
that's going to be an absolute brawl. But they're going down to 100. They're going down to 132.
Yeah.
And they're going to be competing for that title. Is that a weight class that you can fight at as well? Because I mean, you're always the shorter guy at 137. Maybe 132 is somewhere where you can drop down to as well. Is that something you think you could do?
Yes, absolutely. I can make. That's what I wrestled at in high school. I don't walk around very heavy. I'm like 145 right now. But I have some work to do at 137. You know, I have me and the champion have we have a little storyline there, and I got to finish that storyline.
Well,
and,
I mean, listen, I say that because I don't know if he comes back, you know, and you mentioned, not hating. I mean, I definitely don't hate, you know, I want all of you guys, listen, this is the advice I'm going to give you. And I'm saying it here in public because I want all the fighters to take it. If you don't want to be a kickboxer, if you want to go be an MMA fighter, a Muay Thai fighter, by all means, go for it. If you want to use kickboxing, get some experience on the road to that, you're 100% welcome. But my advice is you got to do you. You got to do what's best for your career, right? And so when Jason Granado decided to go do MMA, it's a send-off, dude. I hope you go out there and you kill him, man. Like, of course, you know, we want our guys to go out there and do very well. Do I want him back? Of course, he's always welcome back. But, you know, if MMA is the trajectory for you, then it is what it is. If he doesn't come back, you know, at FightersRep, if you're not available to defend your title twice, the title vacates. And then whoever's the next two guys in line fight for it. That's kind of the way it works. You know, it's no kind of hard feelings. It's just the rule that I created so that it's a consistent rule across the board so that everybody gets a chance to fight for the title eventually, because I can't hold it hostage until someone decides they want to come back to kickboxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would love to see that fight. And there's a lot of fights I would love to see. You know, after Caleb Salazar's performance against De La Paz, I would have loved to see that fight. But I understand Jason Granado's desire right now is MMA. And so all the best to him. I mean, if you decided you wanted to go do boxing, you know, I'd say all the best to you, you know, but the door's always open. You know what I mean? That's what I want to tell you guys too. You got to do you. I'm probably never going to make anyone sign a promotional contract because I want you guys to go get the money and do what's best for you. But door's always open.
Let me cut George off. Let me break this down into what George really means. If you want to go wrestle with oiled up men and have men on top of you. No, just joking. I mess with George because he's always talking about wrestling. But you're the wrestler, obviously, so that would be a easier transition for you because it's not like you'd never wrestled or anything like that. That's pretty dope.
I mean, is that what you want to do? Are you thinking about heading to MMA at some point in the future? Do you want to, do you want to stay in kickboxing and Muay Thai? What is it that you're looking to do in the future? And like I said, I mean, you're always welcome here. It's not going to affect how I feel about you. You know, I'm really happy to have you. We think you're a very exciting fighter. So.
No, I do have a grappling prowess. The first martial art I've ever done was judo. You know, I have a Cuban dad. In Cuba, judo, boxing, track and field, wrestling, huge, right? But you usually go one route. My dad wanted me to do judo. You know, I wanted to do karate. I wanted, every kid wants to do karate. But my dad was like, every fight hits the floor. You need to know what to do when you get there. So, I have judo experience. I've done jiu-jitsu as well, a long time. I wrestled in high school. I wasn't no state champion or anything, but I would say I won a lot more matches than I lost. But I'm focusing on the task at hand right now. Kickboxing, dangerous. You make one mistake, you're hitting the deck unconsciously. So I'm solely focused on kickboxing right now. I consider myself a FightersRep fighter. Muay Thai, I can just say, hey, can I have a title shot? Probably get a title shot. I want to fight in FightersRep. FightersRep is everyone talks about the best matches being here. I know for a fact the best matches are here. This is where I want to do my work. And like I said, wherever the chips fall afterwards, I'll be there. But for now, I'm I'm not somebody who likes to look past things, but for now I'm focused on kickboxing, striking, mainly kickboxing. That's my sole focus. When I'm focused on something, I stay on it. And that's a fighter's rep right now is everything. Beating Andrew Gutierrez right now is the only thing I want to do. It's when I'm at work, when I'm eating dinner, getting my hand raised is the number one thing when I get up in the morning. Obviously getting to work on time and being punctual as we talked about before this, but beating that is in the grand scheme of things, just maintaining work-life balance. But beating Andrew, months of hard work paying off that's my sole focus right now.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is, well, I actually, even though you said you wrestle, you did jujitsu and all that, I actually just from looking at you, I would never guess that. I would think that you came from a boxing background because your hands are like one of the top ones I've seen at Fighters Rep. To be honest with you, you know what I mean. You like your hands is you're gifted with your hands. The angles, your foot movement, just everything in and out like Manny Pacquiao. I really look at you more as a boxer than anything, So I mean, I'm granted, we haven't got to see everything you probably can do with the kicks and things like that. But that's just coming off the top. But I had a silly question. I just always wondered this.
Yeah.
With you bearded guys, does it help cushion the punch or does it do nothing?
I'm not really willing to shave my beard to like test that theory, but
Yeah.
from what I when I was a little kid, I obviously couldn't grow the beard that I have now. I actually felt the strikes a little more, but when you're a kid, you don't really. It's hard to really tell if I'm being honest with you, but I think I'll get back to you in like 3 hours, and the next Thursday I'll go in beardless, and then I'll let you know how by then I'll have a complete answer for you. So in 2 weeks time to study.
Don't do that. We don't want any concussions ahead of the fight.
Yeah. This isn't a study I'm willing to partake in, but if it helps humanity, I guess.
I just always wonder because I know a lot of guys. Some guys will get that beard real. I've never had a beard that big. I've never had the little Rick Ross beard, even though I live in Miami. I keep it about this, and it gets annoying for me after a while. I have to shave it. But I was just wondering because I know when people talk about the fight and they say you have the beard, maybe it protects a little bit. I'm like, I wonder if it does work or not. So I just had to ask the question.
I will say this. I mean, if you don't have Vaseline on it, the punches will stick a little more, which is a thing, like it's that's a legit thing. Like your punches will stick a little more if you have a beard and you're not greased up a little bit. But that's what I do know. But in terms of the study that I'm not willing to do, I can't tell you.
Sergio, who is it that you're getting? Like, who is it that you get a lot of work with that maybe we're familiar with at Fighters Rep? Someone you like work a lot with that you really enjoy working with? I mean, besides obviously your coach Joshua Fleischman.
I'm actually glad you asked that question because there's a gentleman there, a Cambodian gentleman by the name of Gavi Myth. He's fought for you guys.
Okay.
You guys got to get him back. That guy, he's been very crucial to my last 2 fights. We push each other. We have B will if you can ever get B to do this, he'll tell you Sergio and Gavi have some wars, and I attribute a lot of my success lately to that guy. But we hit it. He came to our gym. We've been knowing who he was, but after a hiatus, he came to our gym maybe like last March or something like that, and we literally hit it off. We started whipping each other's ass and helping push each other to that next level. And he's fighting again on August 30th. So after he wins that one, you guys got to get him back. He's a different fighter now. Like, big shout out to him. Big shout out to Christian O'Brien as well. Somebody who's been he taught me a technique I ended a fight with. So I credit O'Brien with that win. So Christian O'Brien, Gavi Myth, and not only that, Joshua Fleischman, Cisco Rivera, those guys have been pivotal in my success, and can't thank them enough. But Gavi, keep an eye out.
No, definitely, we'd love to have him back. Have you been training at all with Death Dealer?
Just conflicting schedules as of lately, but that's my older brother I never had right there. I love that dude. But he'll be coming by. Most likely I'll see him tonight actually. So I might have an answer for you in about an hour or so. But
he got
I'm
the
assuming
answers after the show, George. All the answers are after the show.
Another
I'm
guy
sorry,
with good,
guys.
another guy with good boxing. Another guy with good boxing and good kicks, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When he's in the building, we get some really good rounds as well. That guy, we've had some wars. He's not a champion by accident. Two-sport champion by accident.
Yeah.
Shout out to the death dealer.
Champ. Yeah, he's looking to become double champ on September 7th. But again, listen, if you guys haven't already, get your tickets to FightersRep 25 on September 7th. It's going to be the Cuban Missile Crisis, Sergio Rodriguez. He's upcoming. He's on a streak at FightersRep. He puts on an exciting fight every time, and he's one of the most talented at 137 pounds. He's taken on another absolute stud in Andrew Gutierrez. These are two young warriors heading into their prime, still getting up there, still getting better, and they're colliding on September 7th. And you're going to want to watch this fight because these two, they bring it. They bring the drama. These are two special athletes. These are two tough guys. These are two guys representing great gyms. So definitely get your tickets to come watch these young, future title contenders for both of you at this point. So I'm over the moon about this fight. I can't wait for this fight, if I'm being honest with you, Sergio.
Oh yeah, me too. Every day, like I said, every day I wake up, beating him is number one on my mind. So you guys will see that September 7th. All the dedication, all the hard work. I can't wait. You guys are in for a treat. I promise you guys.
I love it. So, Gary, did you have any parting words that you wanted to give Sergio? Because, we've kept him for almost
hey, man.
15 minutes
Hey,
now.
I'm a fan of all you guys. Let me not say one of the guys.
You.
I'm a fan of all you guys that get in there and fight and you go. I love it. I'm a big combat fan. I do think you have a lot of potential. I do think you're like a really good fighter, even though I picked Villa over you the last fight.
No,
the only fight, but I did. I like primarily, I guess, because my favorite combat is boxing, and then I started trickling down to all the other ones later on. I like your style. I like your ring IQ. Even like I said, Pacquiao, but I also think like a little Loma in there, not so much, but a little with the angles a little bit. Huh?
No, I appreciate that, man. It's both multi-division champions, respected, across their art. So I appreciate that, man. And no hard feelings on you picking Ruben. You're entitled to your opinion. I respect your opinion. I respect you. It's it's hard. I got to be able to deal with criticism, and I learned a lot from that fight. And I'll come back better on September 7th. All I can do is make adjustments, but no hard feelings, man. It's
and last thing. Are Cubans in California loud as the Cubans down in Miami? And do they talk as fast? I'm just trying to see.
The Mexicans keep us humble. So we can't be Cuban with all capital letters in California. We're kind of but we stand out, with our 3 cups of coffee a day, and it's a
little cups of coffee, the Cuban coffee,
the cortaditos. That's something you can expect. Yeah, especially for me. Even in this heat, this heat wave that we're experiencing isn't going to stop that. Isn't going to stop my coffee consumption. So
Oh man, listen, you don't know what heat is, man. You don't know what heat is, bro. We're dying down here.
No, I believe it. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, listen, Sergio, before I let you go, the floor is yours. First and foremost, if you can, let me hear a prediction for September 7th if you have one. And then after that, if you don't have one, or if you have one, and then after that, anyone you want to shout out, anyone you want to thank, the floor is yours.
All right. I would like to shout out the Beehive, everybody there who helps me on a daily basis, makes me a better person, offers me words of encouragement. Mad Max Boxing, Max Ramirez himself, the man behind these, the progress behind these, lethal hands. My mom, she, can't thank her enough for all she's done. My girlfriend, teammates, and shout out to Christian O'Brien, man. We talk a lot, and you guys got to get him back in there. He told me, a little birdie told me he's looking to get back in there on November 23rd. So
always
bang his
welcome.
line, yeah.
Always welcome, the Black Irishman. He's always welcome.
And last but not least, my prediction for FightersRep 25, Rodriguez versus Gutierrez. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna fight my ass off. I'm gonna follow the strategy Coach B and Max Ramirez put in place for me, and I'm gonna come out victorious with my hand raised, and I will be challenging for that title on November 23rd. So that's all on my mind, guys.
I love it. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cuban Missile Crisis, Sergio Rodriguez. Give him a follow on Instagram at let me it's Sergio_Tapatillo. Give him a follow. Follow him. He's going to have an amazing career, and we can't wait to watch him fight. Be sure to get your tickets to FightersRep 25. We'll see you guys there. Sergio, thank you for your time, brother.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for having me, guys.
All right, man.